It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
And welcome to the realm of geekdom. This is Nerd Breaking News. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any of our episode. So let's jump right into it. Let's talk about Pixar's new film, Inside Out 2, which has grossed over $1 million worldwide and has a 91, 95 audience score. This film is blowing up. These numbers are from the previous week of our recording. So the numbers are coming from August 15th. So those numbers should be way higher than that. So let's see. I know some of us have seen the film, some haven't. Anyone wants to give their take on the film?
I'm gonna jump in there. Um, what Inside Out 2 actually is, it's a movie that was made in mind for women who may have struggled with some mental health issues. That is the audience that they were going for with that movie. And when you're looking at the emotions like ennui and all that stuff, they very much do fit that experience. If you haven't had that experience, it's very hard to perceive the new emotions that they introduced in that movie as anything equal to the old emotions that were introduced in the first movie. Thus, the movie itself feels flat. So to me, I felt like the movie was very flat. I didn't see anything additive in it. I didn't think it was that good. I thought it was just okay. If I was going to give it a grade, I give it a B. But would I put it in like on in the W column? No, because I think what they failed to do is they failed to fully flesh out what those new emotions were, how they worked, and why they were important. They were just kind of there and they were impactful, I guess, but they were only impactful because they said they were, not because you actually saw something that would make the emotion seem valuable. So, I thought it was okay.
See, I'm actually in the other side of that, but I actually enjoyed this film a lot. And I guess it's more the fact that I actually went through kind of a similar situation on myself, and I was able to connect, just like you kind of mentioned right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So seeing that dynamic in there and the way they put it out there, I was able to connect, and obviously that connection made me really enjoy this film overall. Um, really, I'm not gonna say it's an A plus, but I'll definitely give it like a B, B minus, somewhere around there, right? Because I still believe that the first film was a lot better, right? Anybody else has any other opinions on the film before we
I
jump to the actual main event?
I agree with Bell in the sense it felt flat. Now it wasn't horrible and it wasn't trash, and let's give its flowers before anything else. The flowers is that it beat Frozen 3 for the most profitable Disney animated movie in history. It's $1 billion film. Anytime it's $1 billion film, Disney's happy. What company isn't happy? It's not for us. It's for people in certain situations. I didn't like the fact that anxiety was viewed as a negative because sometimes anxiety can be a positive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the fact that the emotions, which I love, boredom. What's it called? Boredom's name is I forgot boredom's name. Inui, right? Inui.
Ennui, yeah.
Yeah,
Ennui.
she was my favorite. I thought she was awesome.
Mhm.
I didn't like the fact that it was kind of like a carbon copy of like, oh, the original OG's emotions have to go through a journey once again. I didn't like the fact that Riley's story was not as strong as the first one. And this movie, we've seen a better movie, and that's part one. And so I think that's what hurts this one. Part
Mhm.
one is really, really good. And this one feels like, eh. I saw it once, cool. If it's in the background, I'll watch it, but I'm not gonna run to watch this movie. And then to the professor's point, which is a great point, I felt like the new dudes and girls were just there for the sake of being there. And then
Mhm.
they contrively push the old emotions away. And I just thought that that was a Story wise, I think this film needed better writers. But again,
Hmm?
it didn't. I didn't resonate with it because what the professor goes, I didn't go through that. So it was like,
Well, let's just jump into the main event then. This is a $1 billion film, just like the kid just mentioned. So we decided why not do a top five all-time favorite films for the Pixar animated studios, and that is our main event today. And we're gonna go ahead and go right with the kid. Let's go ahead and hear your first pick.
all right. My first pick is an emotional pick, so it's Coco.
Okay.
I love the movie. I'm an Hispanic background. That movie touches with everybody. I've seen videos, like reactions. I've seen there's. I haven't seen that one negative. Me personally, I haven't seen one negative review in reference to Coco. I thought it was an amazing film. And real quickly, it for the Hispanics or even if you're not Hispanic, it's the idea of what it went through. The idea that you can remember a loved one and that emotional aspect that we all you haven't gone through or you will go through is going to hit you hard.
Mhm. I agree with that. Eagle, what is your first pick up there?
Okay, so I I'm gonna leave like my favorite movie for the end, and I'm torn between two movies. Probably a lot of people are not gonna like my picks, but again, my personal picks. So, Professor, relax. It's between Big Hero 6 and Turning Red. They're two different movies. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? It's
I don't
two
think
different movies.
I don't
Because
think
Big Hero 6 is
it's not Pixar. It's not Pixar.
it's not Pixar,
It's
correct?
not full Pixar.
No, so
No,
you're good.
Oh,
So you're good. There's no
it's
confliction
actually
there.
Walt Disney.
oh wow! So one of the
Same
first ones.
difference.
Okay,
It's
So
there
not.
we go.
so yeah.
Okay, so well, Turning Red. Came out like during that COVID area or a little bit after that. So I don't think a lot of the film didn't get the love that it deserved. A lot of people couldn't didn't watch it, and then it got some criticism that I think was unwarranted. Because of certain how can I say this? The little girl, she was going through her her puberty, right, and getting into that age where things turned red, literally, um,
God.
but in a different way. But I think that it connects a little bit with Coco. Guys, come on, you're relaxed.
Oh my God.
But I
Message.
really think, that it connects with Coco, right? Because it
We're about
shows
to get
that.
suspended.
You need to move on from the little girl in the red thing.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I did. It's all about the family, right? Because at the end of the day, right? Her
Yeah,
mom and her group of friends.
before he says anything else, Professor, your first pick.
Okay, the greatest Pixar movie that I think everyone forgets about, Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo is the movie that made you terrified to be away from your parents, and I think a lot of folks forget the impact that it really had on an entire generation. Whenever you say "just keep swimming," people know exactly what you're talking
Nah, I
about.
disagree. Jaws, but go ahead.
Oh my
I,
God.
I think time has definitely forgotten about
Yeah,
Jaws.
yeah, Sergio. You're talking
Yeah,
about the old generation.
that's
You're
nostalgia.
showing
That's
your
just
age.
I know.
correct.
I'm just saying. You say
He's
keep
showing
swimming.
his
My
age.
I'm just
niece
saying you keep swimming. Is it a shark or a little goldfish? Come on.
My niece started watching
It's a
Jaws
clownfish, my
a
friend.
couple months ago. She went, "What's that?" and changed the channel to put it in perspective. Yeah, yeah. All right.
Uh, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick, and this one's a little a little bit outfield out there, but Ratatouille is one of my top fives, and it wasn't mentioned. So my top five right here, Coco was already mentioned, so I'm not gonna bring that one up. But Ratatouille is just because I actually have such a love for the French culture and the French language. It's something I've been studying since I've been in middle school. I'm kind of fluent in French. So for me, Ratatouille kind of fit that French culture. I also love to cook. I love experimenting in the kitchen. A rat that's cooking French cuisine, I win in that film. So that's my first pick. Sergio, any other picks on your list that hasn't been mentioned?
Yeah, I'm gonna go real quickly on mine. The Incredibles. I thought The Incredibles was you had to burn that DVD because you saw it so many damn times. It was such a good film. And the cool thing about The Incredibles is that you can watch it as an adult and a kid. You can get it. You can get invested in the kid element with Dash and Violet, and then you could also, as an adult, appreciate it more because of the relationship that Mr. Incredible has with Elastigirl. And I thought the villain was underrated. I thought that was cool. The fact that he wanted to be like a fanboy of Mr. Incredible, and I just thought it was very, very adult when you watch it from the film directed by Brad Bird. The idea that they're suing the superheroes, I just thought that was cool. It's a cool element we haven't seen before. So yeah, real quickly, The Incredibles. I would be remiss not to say Cars. We got kids. Cars. Lightning McQueen is a icon, a Bond icon. That man is everywhere. I have to make sure he wasn't in my cereal. He was everywhere. Um, the
I
number
agree.
three, for me, real quickly, number three is Finding Dory over Finding Nemo because I think that while Finding Nemo is more historic, I think Finding Dory is a better film
Oh.
than Finding Nemo. If you actually, I'm just saying when you get a chance to rewatch it.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Coco, and then for me, the last one, my personal favorite in the history of Pixar is Toy Story 2. I thought I'm a Woody fan. And I thought the element and the idea that he could last forever in a museum and kids in a toy museum and he could be appreciated by toys forever, or take the route of Andy eventually leaving, the emotional element that he went through, and it's still regarded as the best Toy Story film. So for me, it is.
Gotcha.
Perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
Ego, complete your list. What do you have?
Right. So, like I said, Turning Red, number five. And then, so number four for me would be Elemental. It's a recently released movie, but
Good
I
pick.
think,
Good pick.
yeah, I mean, I love that movie. To be completely honest, it surprised me because it has like a real, like a weird mix between. There's a lot of things that grown-ups will understand, and I get that a lot of Pixar Disney movies have that, but this one is specifically right. It had a lot of that, and then it was meant for the kids. I have a 5-year-old, and he loved the movie. He loved watching it, on repeat,
Oh yeah.
many many
Great
times. So I
storytelling.
think that
Great storytelling.
yes, yes, that too. The elements itself and how two different people could actually connect. Based on the elements, I think it was a great storytelling. Number three for me would be Coco for the same reasons that the kid just explained. Coming from a Hispanic background, family is everything, right? And then when you talk
Hmm.
about those who have passed away and how we respect their memory as we lived our lives, is really important. So, 100% a great movie. Now, my top two movies are basically number two would be Cars. Everybody loves Cars. And
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow, Chick Hicks, for
Oh,
obvious reasons. And then my number one, probably people are not going to like this, but it's Cars 2. I
oh.
Yeah, I knew it. The kid wasn't gonna like it, but the more I watch it, the more give credit to the writers. It was an amazing movie. I know that people criticize it because it almost entirely based on Mater, but the jokes are amazing. The storytelling is amazing, and even though we don't see him as much, yes, lightning is there. Towards the end, and I think it shouldn't been the part two at all. Like this probably should have been like a spin-off, something that could have done it later on. But I'm glad that they did it, and to be honest, it's my favorite movie of Pixar.
Perfect. Professor,
So
complete your list for us.
All right. So to me, my actual personal favorite Pixar movie, I put it number two, Wally. So Wally's my number two. Up is my number three because Up makes you want to hug your grandparents a lot more tightly. I think Turning Red is a masterpiece, so I put that as number four. Any movie that you can make about girls' periods, you can universalize to something that anyone can understand, is just magic. And number five for me is actually Coco. Coco is I don't even know how I think of all the Pixar movies, that might be the one that I've seen maybe the second most. I've just watched it over and over and over again with my nieces and nephews. So because I think that movie is very good at universalizing certain values in a way that different generations can understand, and that's also a magical thing. So yeah.
So
Great
I'll
pick.
jump right at number two because it's already got mentioned. It was Coco for my number two in the list.
Mhm.
And exactly what everybody has said. The culture aspect, it's just incredible. The music for me was just impeccable, quite honestly. As a former musician, the music just made me cry. I'm pretty sure we all cried whenever he started singing. So, uh, really, really one of those few movies that really made me tear up. So, it's definitely number two for me. I have The Incredibles at number three. Ratatouille, which I had showed as my first pick, it was actually number four. Inside Out is my number five pick. I love that film. Again, the whole emotional aspect, I kind of connect with it. So it was kind of made for me, I guess. And the people that are emotional like that. And my number one film is Toy Story. And that is because Toy Story for me was my introduction to Pixar. And they hit a home run with that film. And every time I saw that Pixar logo, I said, I'm going to watch that film. And they hit another home run. So, because of Toy Story, the animation, and just how significant it is in my aspect of my life, being that first film to introduce me to Pixar, it has that number one spot for me. All right. Any out there that we have not mentioned and deserves some honorable
I would
mentions?
say some honorable. So one honorable. If I could get even one honorable, and then I'm like, I love this film, and people were just like, hey, they look the other way. Um, I love Monsters University. I don't know why. I just love that movie,
I
and I
thought
should.
about it. Yeah.
And hot take, by the way, because my wife loves part one. I think part two is better. I don't know. I think part two
That's
is
not a
better.
hot take. It's not a hot take. It's a
No,
fact.
and the reason why I say that because I never saw part one, I had to see it because after I saw part two, and I saw part one, I was like, it's actually underwhelming. We scare because we care.
So one of the points I was gonna make earlier is that of all of Disney's franchises, the Monsters Inc. franchise is actually probably their best taken care of. Because when you're looking at it like in terms of quality, like it hits every time. They just done such a really good job with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love. Again, that's just me. I don't know if you have one, professor, but for me, for whatever reason, I love that film. Rewatchable
Totally,
all the time.
totally agree with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ego, you got anything? Any honorable mentions that you're like, I love this movie?
Um, I was gonna say probably y'all are gonna hate me. Onward,
Oh
probably
my god!
You know
probably
what? I
nobody's
actually
five.
like Onward. I
There we go.
enjoyed that film.
PK,
I'm not
thank
saying it's
you.
the best film,
What
No,
movie?
but it was an enjoyable film.
yeah, honorable mention. You know.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I go with that.
I'll say this
Professor?
though before we go. I want to add on to something that you said about Turning Red. I thought another element Turning Red what made it beautiful that we all loved was the relationship when she says in the movie about honoring your parents. I thought that hit
Mm,
every other, like I was like, okay, you gotta. And also, if you want to watch a mother daughter film, Brave, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, good
Yes.
yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Any other honorable mentions out there, Professor?
No,
All
I'm
right.
good with
So
the
I
ones that
do
you
have
said.
one more, and Sergio's gonna love this one. The kid is gonna love this.
Here we go.
Oh, Soul.
Oh my god.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I'm hearing
I just
Soul.
wanted to see his reaction.
I'm hearing Soul. I'm hearing part two of Cards, and I'm like, all right, clearly we're doing the worst Pixar films, right? Like we're like,
Oh.
good lord,
Oh God.
good
All
lord.
right. Well, we'll end it right there with Soul being the top for Surge for the kid over here. But thank you for tuning in. Whether you're a Jedi time traveler or a soul like the kid, you keep your fandom alive and you keep your war drive engaged. Until next time, fellow nerds, it's us, Nerd Breaking News. Thank you.